welcome back to Gamers Remorse. Today we're checking out the game Luna, released by TMG, designed by Stefan Feld. So, let's check it out.
Luna is a 1 to 4 player game by Stefan Feld, published by Tasty Minstrel Games. Players each act as an order in service of the moon goddess Luna, seeking to gain favor in the eyes of the moon priestess, i.e. get the most points. Players begin the game with 5 points, 8 novices placed in pairs, 1 shrine, and a council member on the 0 on the priest track. Players will take turns activating their workers to gain favor tokens, use favor tokens to gain benefits, and move workers to set themselves up for future turns. The game board consists of a main temple, which is set up dependent upon a player count. This is a 3-player setup, hence 3 center tiles being face up and 1 tile being face down. The temple has tiles placed around the perimeter, and a time tokens marking the progression of play, and a guard marking which tiles can be promoted by workers to fill place in the temple, though players can bribe the guard to get around this. There are then 7 islands around the main temple that players use to gain favor tokens, temple tiles, build shrines, and other various benefits. For the sake of time, we will not explain every island in detail. If you would like to see a more in-depth rules explanation, let us know in the comments below. Each round ends when the final time or candle token has been flipped. Then a scoring round begins. Players score influence by having the most workers on the island with the moon priestess, avoiding the island with the apostate, and maintaining workers inside the temple proper. Players can also gain points as they take actions during their turns. At the end of the game, after the 6th round, players can do an additional scoring phase where they will earn 4 points per shrine constructed, 1 point for each unused favor token, and influence points according to their location on the Council of Priests. The player with the most points is thus declared the Supreme Order, and thus has the honor of electing the new Moon Priestess upon Luna's resignation. But you can build shrines, which will act as a worker, only that worker is stuck on that location. So in essence, I thought it was a nice twist on worker placement. It plays differently. I like the movement of the different pieces as well, so you want to go different areas to get on the same tile as the Moon Priestess or to avoid the apostate. I just thought that was a really clever use of mechanics. Agree, disagree?
Yeah, I think when we were first introduced to some of the mechanics, it's nice with some of the complexity that Stefan Feld has, his point salad, if you will. You're really trying to narrow down which of these mechanisms you're going to utilize to score the most points. What's really interesting about this game is he cleverly hid some of the best strategies. So initially, you're faced with, oh, the biggest board. This is where all the action's going to happen, right? So on my turns, I spent a lot of time trying to strategize where I was placing each of these tokens within the temple or whatever. And it didn't really play out that valuable at all. It was actually all the islands and how they interwork together that seemed to add the most value. So I found that very interesting, and it makes me want to play immediately. Yeah. So, what do you think, Eric?
I think the mechanics were really for worker placement. It was just a lot of like additional things that you really had to think about. It wasn't necessarily just worker placement. There was a lot more strategy involved. You were not generally just thinking about your current turn. You were thinking like 3 turns ahead. You were thinking even a round ahead. So it was. I really liked the mechanics. I think it was a bit hard to grasp at first. But it was.
And aspects of area control, like I mentioned, there's other mechanics at play.
Right. Yep. So, in regards to style, what do you think, Eric?
I mean, you can definitely tell like which icons and which tokens are what. The artwork, I mean, I don't know. Your the Moon Priestess, your I don't know, like followers of the Moon Priestess. It was I don't know, the temples. I don't know.
I like to say it's pretty much a standardized Euro, but it seems like I don't know if TMG did polish it up a bit, but it seems like some of the artwork may have been updated a tad from its original publication. But it's a Euro, right? So you're given these little wooden meeples. That makes up the core of the gameplay. The islands were just pretty mats. I mean, basically, with charts and different locations you can put stuff. But artwork probably didn't matter that much. I did like these sheets that they
those
gave
are very
us.
nice.
That was extremely important. I have to imagine the original playtest of this game. It was like, what does the herb do again? Mm-hmm. If you just have a sheet that told you all that, well, it has it. So that's handy. Well, what do you think, Brian?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the original game art. If I recall correctly, this is a reprint. I could be mistaken.
It is.
But so I don't know how much TMG changed it from the original printing. But this is often known as one of Stefan Feld's most thematic games. And I think along with that, they raised the bar on the art as well. So, I mean, it does have a lot of the mechanics you enjoy from your Euros, but it has the art and the component quality of more of an Ameritrash game. Mm-hmm. So I think it's a great way to either bring your Ameritrash friends closer into the Euros or to help pull your Euros more into Ameritrash. It's a nice marriage, I guess, of the two.
I could see that. And then in regards to pacing, I can go ahead and tackle that one first. It seemed like in the beginning, it's a little bit, you're trying to understand what each of the different things do. And about halfway through, you kind of develop a strategy of what you're going to try and do based upon what tokens you have and where you're at and what have you. And then by the end, the Feldian snap, as you like to say, right? You figure it out. You really start to double down on some of the functions that can get you the most points. But by then, everyone's in a totally different situation. And so you really have to look at what you have to figure out where you're headed to get the most points. But again, it is point salad.
Yeah.
But the pacing situation towards the end, while everyone's trying to, once they reach the Feldian snap, it slows down, in my opinion, because people are reaching a whole nother level of strategy.
Yeah.
And then turns can take upwards of 5-6 minutes per person.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of room for analysis paralysis. And one of the things I did, and I think it worked moderately effectively, is there's 6 rounds total. After round 4, I was like, I know how I'm going to end the game. And so the very last round, my turns took less than 10 seconds.
True.
And part of that was I wanted to force you guys to think quicker and panic a bit. And then part of that, too, was all I'm doing is moving up on a certain track. I'm just moving workers off to move a track. And it worked. I just wanted to end it before you guys could take too many actions as well.
Yeah. So what do you think about theme?
I really enjoyed the theme. I like the idea that you're fighting for the favor. They gave a reason to the points. Often one of my complaints is like you're farming to get points. That makes no sense. Whereas here, the point is representative of favor of the current head of this order that you're serving. So the more points you have, the more respect you have in her eyes. That makes sense to me a lot more than I farmed better, so I got more points. So I really liked that element of theme, but I'm also, I'd say, one of the more thematic, dependent players in most of my game groups. But what do you guys think as people who are okay with a super dry Euro? What did you think about the theme?
I mean, the theme was definitely there. I mean, you had, you had your priestess that moved around. You had your apostate. You had you were recruiting more emissaries out of missionaries for this order. You had. Was it your your novices that were essentially extra workers. So, and then like you had your temple guards. So yeah, I think the theme was definitely there, especially for a Euro.
So I don't know if you guys know this about me. I actually am of the Luna cult. And this is nothing like our religion. Not a thing. Okay, they got the theme all wrong. Okay? No? Okay. Yeah, I mean...
You're going to get so many like angry comments from people who follow the moon goddess.
Right, they're going to be so mad. So basically, yeah, I mean, there was some theme here. It would be cool to see a book based on this game. I don't know. Maybe that puts me on a whole nother echelon of being a nerd, but...
Yeah, it does.
It seemed like a cool theme, but not a very well-known one. I mean, you're moving around islands, developing things to worship a god. I don't know. Sure, there's a theme there. Yeah. I'll give you that. Easy to learn. I guess you're the one that read the rules, Brian.
Yeah.
How did it go?
So I read the rules, and I was like, I might understand it. So then I watched a video, then I read the rules again, and then I read some other stuff. I'm like, okay, now I think I get it. But with most of the Stefan Feld games, I think I mentioned in other reviews, me and some friends of mine have what we call the Feldian snap, where it doesn't matter how well you think you know the rules until you play the game. And then like halfway through, all of a sudden it makes sense. Mm-hmm. It's like you're kind of confused, and then all of a sudden everything falls into order, and you're like, oh, I get it now. But with most Stefan Feld games, you're like an hour and a half in, so you're not going to start over. So, I mean, once you get going, it makes sense, but it takes a while to get there. Mm-hmm. As people who had to learn the rules from me, who messed them up, I pulled a Sean. What were your guys' thoughts?
Oh, it's a phrase now? It's a verb? Oh.
Hashtag it, social media, pulled a Sean.
Fair enough.
So, what do you guys think? Was it difficult to understand what I was saying teaching it?
I think once we got through the first round, it was fine, you know? I mean, yeah, we screwed up the apostate thing, but okay.
And the refresh.
Yeah. And the refresh thing. Sure, there were a couple of big glaring details.
Illustrated quite well. We were just busy having fun.
To be fair, you're memorizing special rules for 7 islands, plus the main thing, plus the scoring. I mean, there's a lot of layers of intricacy in this game. I would say, in general, each island makes sense by themselves. Mm-hmm. It's some of the special characters and how they interact that are kind of out there. But I think it was fairly simple, particularly for a medium Euro.
Yeah.
Thoughts? Agree?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, for me, I think it took a little bit longer to kind of comprehend just the kind of the special rules that were for each token and everything. But and like once I did understand everything, that was okay, a lot quicker. However, I mean, there was a lot more strategy involved in things just constantly changing. Yep. So. Mm-hmm.
And replayability. I mean, it's a Euro, right? It's going to have high replayability, right?
We're going to quote you at some point. You're going to find a terrible Euro game. And you're going to like, but it's a Euro.
I mean, yeah.
KJB Games is going to come out with the worst Euro ever. And you're going to be like, really?
They don't make Euro games. Only Ameritrash. That's all they make.
It's a game company called KGB Games. Look them up. They're great.
So yeah, I mean, most Euros have a pretty high replayability. That's the whole point, right?
I mean, arguably designers of anything want their game to be replayable.
Time stories. Sherlock Holmes consulting detective. I mean, right?
I haven't played either game.
We can fix that.
You mean you want to play it again? What? You want to play it again? Your playability, eh?
Only to see your reaction.
Point me.
Anyway, it's a great Euro. High replayability, I would say. Mm-hmm. Looking for thoughts?
Yeah,
yes?
I would say I'm ready to play.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be different every time you play.
Yeah.
Presumably.
Yeah, I mean, the islands will go out in different orders. You'll start in different places. You can have different locations based on player counts. Mm-hmm.
There you go. All right. Any other thoughts? Closing thoughts? You like it? You love it? You want some more of it?
Is that is that just asking for an expansion, or?
Yes. We want some more islands.
Yes. All right. Well, that has been Luna by TMG Games here on the Gamer's Remorse. Thanks for tuning in.
And I'm sorry.
We're all sorry.